Hi, my name is Jose Zabala. I'm a board member of City Ministry Network, and I'm excited to have you. Welcome to Catalyst. Today, we hope to provide you with answers to a question many of you have asked. What does City Ministry Network do? Great question. We are excited to share City Ministry Network's involvement in the city and in the county. Our mission is to develop leaders who have a heart for the vulnerable and the skills to change the community. Today, you will learn how we put this mission into action through 5 sectors: youth empowerment, community care, Pastor Connect, Catalyst, and the neighborhood-centric church. Well, we hope that you can come away with a clear picture of City Ministry Network and learn how you can get involved in bringing sustainable community change here in Stanislaus County. Thank you for being here.
Well, good morning, Catalyst. How are you? Grab your coffee, and people will be coming in, and we'll fill in the tables. Great to have you here. Usually this is the time when I tell you to silence your phones and get a hold of somebody on your Facebook or whatever you do, Instagram or whatever people do now. But we're not going to do that this morning. We're going to jump right in. This morning is City Ministry Network's opportunity and chance. Every November we just stop to remind people what we do and who we are, why we do it, because it's so important to understand that what's been happening over the last year, to catch you up on all that has been happening around with you and with us as well. The first thing I want to bring up to you is a few years back, and COVID is still with us, but at the same time when it was raging, Stanislaus County came to City Ministry Network and asked us to host and to reach out to communities, to families and individuals who are losing their rent, who are losing their homes. And so they put together through the state an emergency rental assistance program. And so I want to introduce to you a young man who we're quite proud of, who has led a team, and that program is about to fade away. But I'd like to bring up Nico Solario, and he has been the leader of that team of emergency rental assistance. And we've had a lot going on, so we won't be messing around and wasting any time here. But since Nico, his team has led Stanislaus County, and just tell everybody what's been up to. I know we gave you some time, so jump in there.
Good morning, everybody. As you know, my name's Nico. I'm supervisor of the California Rental Assistance Program team here at City Ministry Network. And today I just kind of wanted to give you guys a quick update of some data that we have to share with you guys.
You can come to the middle here,
okay.
Nico. I'll get out of
So, really quick, I pulled it up on my phone because I actually forgot to send this slide in, but in total in California there was $4.3 billion in rental relief. $4.3 billion. So in Modesto alone we had 19.6 million. And then thank you. But in all of Stanislaus County we had $38.3 million given to us in rental relief money. So a lot of landlords were able to get their money, pay their mortgages. A lot of people stayed in their homes. We assisted 4,600 households. And then I kind of wanted to give you guys a couple more breakdowns of different cities. So the city of Oakdale, about 151 households we assisted with $1.1 million on average of $9,400 per household. In the city of Turlock, 585 households with $4.1 million, and in the unincorporated areas of Stanislaus County, 771 households with $7.1 million. So a lot of money in a lot of houses. A lot of people got, a lot of rent relief. And so with City Ministry Network, a total number of appointments that we conducted from March 31st, which was when the rental relief program closed its applications, up until October 26th, we've assisted 1,600 applicants, had 1,600 appointments to help them completing whatever it is that they needed for the application. So, again, if you go, you see how many applicants did you get into the portal by hitting the submit button. So there was another 136 people that we assisted even when the portal closed to get in there. And then 520 applicants had pending tasks, which meant the state was reaching back out to them, trying to get them to update some information, give them a new rental lease, things like that. So we were assisting them. And then when the process was closed and the state denied some of these applicants for some reason, they gave everyone an appeal. They let you appeal the decision. So we helped 39 applicants appeal. 19 of them were successfully submitted. And I did ask the state for how many of those got approved of appeals and how much funds we actually gave out with those appeals. Unfortunately, they didn't get back to us in time to share with you guys, so I do apologize. But we also, with the state and up and down the state, we were able to gather a bunch of information and other assistance programs that we were able to share with a lot of applicants that are still struggling with paying, their utility bills, still struggling on getting food in their home. So we were able to share some programs with people, CalFresh, LI HEAP, which is a utility assistance, CalWorks, SSI, homeless prevention, eviction prevention resources such as Project Sentinel. And so in total, we've assisted over 2,000 applicants in our area, and we also expanded to actually help people all up and down California as well. So not only were we assisting people in Stanislaus County, but the state also got rid of some local partner networks, which gave us more access to everyone up and down the state. So we were also helping people in the LA area, Merced area, and things like that.
And you're one of the top teams in the state, correct?
Yeah, we were one of the top teams in the state. We did great out here, guys. I mean, we really helped people out, and I was proud of it. And we did a great team. We have a great team. I don't see them out here, but Adriana Sanchez and Anais Madrigal, they really just kicked butt out there and helping. And then prior to joining the state, when we were with the county, we also had a greater team. Gabriella was on our team. Pedro was on our team. And we also had Yvonne on our team. So we had a pretty big team. And then we also partnered with a bunch of credit unions, and we just were going out spreading the word of the rental assistance program.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, and we would see you guys out lined up when they were giving food giveaways. You were handing out, hey, do you need rental assistance? And I do want to encourage you and say this, is that in our office and in other places as well, but especially in our office when we'd be up, I'd walk by and they'd be working with the family, and it was at times heartbreaking to hear the stories, especially the families that were afraid and didn't understand that there was assistance, that there was help, and you guys were amazing in supporting them and encouraging them and giving them comfort. So I'm real proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nico.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. One of the challenges that City Minister Network has with me is that I developed as a silent servant. And so you let other people tell your story. And, of course, if you're in marketing or branding, you can't always do that. So we're going to take some time just to let you know what we've been up to. And we don't brag about it. We don't talk a lot about it. But, of course, we want to let you know that we were entrusted with that effort and amazing group of young people that have been out with families caring about them. And you're going to hear more and more about Nico and the team, really, when it comes to the development of how the city and the county develop as an organization as time goes on. So another young man I want to bring up to you that has been amazing. Many of you know him already, and he's been a part of so much. But there's some things that I've learned about Manny. Come on up, Manny. So Manny is one of our current City Ministry Network board members. Here's some new things I've learned about him. Let's see. He was recognized as a McNair Scholar, Harvard Innovation Lab Fellow, Forbes Under 30 Scholars, won the Wesley Prize for Young Innovators in California. You went to Downey High, right? Davis. Sorry about that. All right. I went to Modesto High, so sorry, man. If you would have said Downey, we would have ended this right now. So,
Lord. Jose, where's Jose at? Right
Downey,
there.
right there. But Manny grew up in South Modesto and has just an incredible story. We're incredibly proud of him. But one of the things that we do on the side, and we do very quietly, City Ministry Network, is that because of trust relationships, we're able to have quiet conversations. We're having quiet conversations to help influence, move things along. And candidly, there are times when I literally forget that we did something or we are part of moving something along. And so the other day, Manny reminded us of a story that I thought was amazing, and I just kind of went by it. I don't know what that's about. Maybe I need counseling, Courtney. Maybe, but Manny, tell us about sidewalks and your Latino Leadership Initiative. All that.
Correct. So huge, or I commend CMN a lot, because like in my reflection, and I realized how much of a role CMN played, not only in my life over the years, but also in helping me and a couple of my friends navigate kind of what the process is to make impact at scale here in Stanislaus County. So one thing that I'm very passionate about is sidewalks. I grew up in South Modesto, no sidewalks. Have heard stories since I've been a child of why sidewalks have not happened. People have lived, died wanting sidewalks. They never seen it come into fruition. And it kind of just seemed like this thing that was stuck in time, really stagnant, and nobody really knew how to make it happen. So it's pictures like this where there are sidewalks, and we didn't even have that in South Modesto. We didn't even have ruined sidewalks in South Modesto, and that was something that I've always thought about. I've always been really interested in. So if we go to the next slide, when I heard about the Latino Leadership Initiative and to join the program, they interview you. They asked me why I wanted to join, and I pretty much just said, I want to know why there's not sidewalks in certain parts of our city and our county and what it's going to take to make it happen. So in 2021, I joined the second cohort of the Latino Leadership Initiative and had the privilege of being able to be mentored by a local congressman. And I thought, if you want sidewalks, you kind of just, get a whole bunch of people and you make some noise and you'll get it. But what I learned from him is that there is a political process that you have to kind of follow to really make change happen. It was the first time that I had ever known that. Mark Garcia could attest to this, all the times that we kind of went at it about the political process and following steps to make things happen. Sometimes you could mobilize and make impact, but other times there is a process that you have to follow. And with something like sidewalks, there was a political process that had to be followed, and it was a lesson that I had to learn. So after joining the Latino Leadership Initiative and after working with the congressman, I thought, what's a way that we can get people interested in this topic? So myself, Jose Burrell, who I don't think is here, and Edgar Navarro, we thought, if we recorded a walking conversation wearing black shoes through the community, we could film our shoes being clean at the beginning of the talk, and at the end of the talk, they'll be completely dirty. That was our thought, let's demonstrate what people have to live and do every day. So we did this in South and West Modesto. We had a couple of them posted. It was a fun little project. We walked with community members that kind of talked about their struggles. Let's go to the next slide. And then, what we realized is that's great. You're building awareness, but there's another step to this that I was incapable of doing on my own. And that's when me, Nancy Martinez, who I don't think is here, and Jose Burrell, and I'd be remiss to acknowledge Eric Alvarez, who's running for city council. We founded Debrief, who all of them are LLI alumni. And we said, one person cannot do this, but a group of people who come together, shared vision, shared goals, could form a company and try to make a difference on issues that are beyond sidewalks, like public health, like education, like economic development. There are issues beyond just this really singular thing that are important that we need to amplify those voices of marginalized communities about. People experience things and they need to be heard, and there's not an outlet for them to be heard. So that's why we created Debrief, was to ensure that there are people who are consulting, governing bodies, large organizations on how to be more inclusive, but also how to be influenced by the community. And from there, we had the privilege of working with Stanislaus County on doing a countywide data gathering effort of unincorporated communities in our area. And what was eye-opening to us was that the issue of sidewalks wasn't just in South Modesto, it was countywide, and the issue wasn't just sidewalks, it was lighting, it was sewers, it was street lights, it was a host of other things that we would have never known. And I see a couple county reps here, Erica. It was really helpful for us to build our capacity to understand just the scale of issues, and that South Modesto is just one place in one location in a large county. So we learned a lot. We were able to help gather data, gather stories of people who wanted to share, and who were hopeful and who believed that those who lead them had their best interests in mind. Let's go to the final slide. And all of that resulted in the county approving money for island projects. So earlier, or in September, the county approved of, I believe it was $50 million to go towards infrastructure updates like lighting, sidewalks, et cetera, across the county. And 2 of those locations were actually in South Modesto. So it kind of came full circle for us. And what I recognize is none of this would have been possible, 1, without the partnerships and the collaborative efforts of community, 2, people who are mentors to the younger people in the area, entrusting and giving opportunities. I'll be honest, like debrief, we learned a lot in this process, and we were grateful that we had people entrust us. But 2, it was also CMN who opened up the door for us to be able to work together, collaborate, learn, build a company, be able to find partners. So it just shows the importance of LLI in our community.
Thanks, Manny. Manny and some others are effort $25 million for sidewalks in South Modesto and $10 million in West Modesto. So it's amazing. We've said from the beginning that we exist to champion you, to highlight you, to push you forward and highlight you. And it's just amazing for me to hear some of these young men, to get them up front, and some of the women that have been a part of all this as well that aren't up here this morning, but to say they're just amazing, and you are too. What we want to do now is we're going to move you around a little bit. Now, it's very easy. It's at times been difficult to tell you what we do, because when you come to Catalyst, and this is all you do with City Ministry Network, you think, well, doesn't City Ministry Network, that's all they do is Catalyst? Or if you are a pastor or a Christian organization leader, you think, well, all they do is Pastors Connect. We do a lot more. We do develop leaders. We network leaders to get you to trust relationship, to work together for the intent of making this a great place to grow up and to grow old in. And candidly, as the elections come up next week, as we continue to have more and more divisive voices, and there's just more tension, it's going to be so important, in fact, vital, that we go deeper in our trust relationships. And I'm learning not to force conversations, not to go ahead and stick my nose in something, let's go ahead and fight it out. But no, we're going to develop trust relationships and don't do anything to hurt that relationship. So those are things I'm learning in this season. It's only going to get a little more difficult. At least that's been my experience as I look at things now. And so we want to share with you how we're developing people, because people are our widgets. They are that which we develop. We develop leaders. We develop people that get involved. And we have about 58 young people that we've connected with that are on community boards and community boards, commissions, and councils, because they want to learn how to get involved and how the system works and how to make impact and change from the inside out. So those are some of those quiet things that we've been a part of, and it's been amazing things. So here's the instructions. Each one of you, if you look at your name tag, you got a name tag with a little dot on it. And so we're going to invite you to walk around, and you'll start at the table with your name tag with a little button. Now, I know you're adults, and so some of you are going to do whatever you think you want to do, Erica. So right here, she says, don't tell me where to start. So we want to encourage you just to balance people around to get you going. So every one of the tables has a different color. That's where you start. If you'd appreciate that, we'd appreciate you doing that. But, of course, we understand that some of you are going to walk with your friends and those kind of things. A couple of things is that Carlos Gonzalez will be walking around on Zoom. So he's our Zoom host this morning. We do have people on Zoom. And so he will be walking around and literally be your guide through the table, as well as John Torres is suffering in Cancun, Mexico. He did a wedding, and he's in the back there, so he will be on Zoom as well and talk to you through Zoom. Isn't it amazing to live in 2022 with all this technology? Right in front of you is we've put some pads of paper in front of you. You're welcome to take them home with you if you need a pen, an old, outdated, antiquated writing utensil. Those are there in front of you as well if you could do that. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to move you around pretty quickly, so you won't have a lot of time to ask a lot of questions or in-depth questions. So I want to encourage you to either leave your question at the table with your name, and then that person at the table at the station will come back to you in a matter of days. Did you all hear that? Within the next day or so to answer a question. Or you can come up after we're done here. They're going to be back at their, around their tables, and you can go up and say, hey, you said this, and what is that all about? What did you say that? So, okay. When it's time to transition, we'll start some music. And every one of the station heads, they know that they'll stop talking and direct you. So, and we're all going to go, let's see, what is this, clockwise? Is that how that works? Okay, so that's where we'll start. You ready? Okay, fantastic. Go ahead, look at your little dot, start the table, and then the clock is ticking. Good morning. As you're moving, keep moving, just ignore me. The tables are in purple over here, youth empowerment. In the back is a neighborhood-centric church in the orange. In the back is community care. Morning, David. Red, community care. Catalyst is on the right over here in green, and Pastors Connect is blue. See you in a little bit. It looks like when you're ready, you can go ahead and get started. Okay, if you could move around. And if you would know the song, the theme song to this TV show, then you'll get extra points. So you can move. Thanks. Isaiah, quit wooing over there. Mackenzie, please tell Isaiah to let people go. And go ahead and move to your next station. And when you get everybody moving, you can go ahead and get started. Good morning. Thanks, everybody. You're terrific.
space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds,
How we doing?
to seek out new life and new civilizations.
To go
To
where no
boldly
man
go
has
where
gone
no
before.
man has gone before.
All right, come back to your tables. You can grab some coffee. Make sure you write your questions on the pieces of paper, or they will be around at their station after we're done here, and you can talk with them then. One of the things, a huge thing that City Ministry Network is and does is connect, weave, collaborate, bring groups together, a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of consultations and counseling, and tell me who you are, what do you care about. There's a lot of one-on-one. You can't create a station for one of the major things that we do, and our heart is to bring people together, because it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us. And even talking to a couple of leaders even today of just how we infer or we assume negative about each other or some other leader, and then all of a sudden 5 years later we've got issues between us, or you have issues between you, or government situations, whatever those things would be. I can't put in a station the times that I sit down with leaders and our staff sit down with leaders to connect and collaborate, and how can we figure this out together, and how can we work together? What do you bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? How can we be friends? You can't create a station for that, and that's a huge thing that we do. I was in a time study. We had a conversation yesterday in the meeting about, for me, doing a time study, and there's a lot that I do with that, and our staff does that, but you can't put a station on that. So let's continue to work together, to collaborate, champion each other. And our county and our city is an amazing place to live and grow up in. I've had the privilege of having as our board president, well, they're all young, so I'll just say young woman, Courtney Kaufman. And she's going to come up and wrap this up, and then you'll have time to finish at the end. I do want to say, if it let me go, I'll do this too. Come on up, Court. Is that elections coming up on Tuesday, and we do have Measure H that is going to be on the ballot for a tax increase and the benefits it'll bring to our city. We've invited Joe Lopez, who's our city manager. He's here this morning, and we won't bring him up, but he'll be at the back. And this is such a vital, a key initiative for us and a measure for our community. And you might have questions or concerns or thoughts, and we've invited him to be in the back, and he'll be back at the community table if you have any questions for him, or you want to give him an attaboy. Because I tell you what, our government leaders, sometimes they just need to come up and say, hey, you know what, thank you for your service. Really, okay? So he'll be back. I want you, and Courtney will remind you at the end, but I'm going to get off the platform and let our president go from here.
Okay, so did anybody learn something new about what CMN does? Anybody? Yeah, so it kind of always surprises us when we start talking to people who've been coming to Catalyst for years or who've been involved in one of the programs that we have for years. It always surprises them when they start hearing all of the different works that are actually happening. I was telling Marvin, I think yesterday, I was thinking about how do you start to like quantify and get data around being relational glue in a community. I think we think of like who's the glue in the family, and we kind of know that person who keeps tabs on everybody, who knows what's going on in everyone's world, and who tries to bring people together, right? Sometimes in good ways and sometimes not so helpful. But what we try to do is be the relational glue for a community, which means sometimes we don't align with one group or another enough, and there's challenges in that, but it's hard to figure out like data and give statistics about all of that work because it's so like nuanced, right? It's just kind of this strange thing. How do you describe it? So for me, the exciting parts of what we do are those, like that you can't really quantify, it's hard to describe, it's hard for us to tell our story sometimes, but those are actually the essential roles that we play in the community that if we were gone, people would realize it, they would see it. So again, just to remind you, if you want to check in and kind of ask some more questions, understand a little more deeply some of these different initiatives we have going on, the presenters will be at their tables afterwards. And so please feel free, go have some conversations, get to know them, maybe ask for some meetings elsewhere or how you can get involved. We always want more of that. Also, hopefully you met somebody new, maybe even in your group as you wandered around from table to table. Take somebody to coffee, right? Meet up for lunch, start to get to know them. Again, that is the point. That is ultimately the point of why we feel it's important to come together. Or even share this week one thing you've learned. Maybe there's some place where you know someone who could connect in one of these ways. Also, again, kind of going back to, it's hard to kind of be the relational glue because everybody kind of knows, but nobody actually knows what you do. In the same way, it's hard sometimes as a 501c3 to describe, here's what you can give to. But what I hope you saw today are really important things that are happening underneath what you see in the community that you can get behind. So if you are able to give, if you're interested in giving, you have access to the QR code on the table that will take you there. We are a 501c3 and we are in need. We're in need of support, just like kind of all of us, right? Again, our city manager, Mr. Joe Lopez, will be at the back table for any questions around Measure H. So feel free to take advantage of that as well. I also have the privilege, so for next month's Catalyst, I have the privilege of introducing Kate Trumpeter. She's going to come up and talk about next month. I'm going to actually read the bio, and then I'll share a little bit just of my brief interactions with her. But many of you may already know her in her role as a community coach and consultant. What you may not know is that she started out her first employment as a pianist for the Yes Company. And so the performing arts are a big part of her and her husband's kind of interactions and community work. She and her husband Dave are active in the community, planning, performing, and promoting local performing and visual art activities. She's responsible for events like Mod Shop and Porch Fest. So if you guys remember, have heard, or participated in those. And her husband Dave runs his nonprofit company, Drum Love, and is a local working musician. They're hosts for next month's meeting on the Performing and Visual Arts in Stanislaus County, and so I'm pleased to introduce Kate.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I had this whole plan to stand down there because I didn't want to fall. But then I was told that then there's people who can't see me. So, hello, good morning. I'm going to be brief because I think everyone has places to go. So I'm really excited. There was a time in my life where everybody just knew me as the girl who played the piano. And now that's flipped, and I'm, like Courtney said, mostly known for some of my consulting work. But yeah, I got my start in this community as a pianist hired by Yes Company when I was 13 years old to play in their pit. And I still play professionally, and my husband is a professional working musician. So we've been delighted to have many opportunities in Leadership Modesto and in other places to get to showcase the visual and performing arts throughout Stanislaus County, and we're delighted that we've been asked to do that for this group. So what you can expect next month is some interactive experiences. You can expect to be playing a musical instrument before you go to work. And we're also hoping to take you on a bit of a tour through both our local working musicians, local poetry, visual arts, the performing arts, our resident companies, in sort of a pre-holiday showcase of all the things there is to take advantage of in Stanislaus County when it comes to that kind of entertainment. So, delighted and very excited to be with you. Come ready to learn and hopefully be inspired and to make some music together. So, that's that.
All right, thank you, Kate. I'm really excited for next month, Catalyst. I just want to close this in prayer now. And I'm just feeling a lot of gratitude for everything that CMN is. And so let's pray. God, thank you so much for City Ministry Network, who they are to our community, what they've been doing, but overall, who they are, God, and striving to be, God. And so thank you for Mike. Thank you for Wade. Thank you for Anthony. Thank you for Mark. Thank you for John in Mexico. Thank you for Pedro, Gabriella, everybody that's volunteering. Thank you for making us people that are bridges in our community. And I just pray the same for everybody here, that they continue to be people that create spaces for others, safe spaces and bridges in our community. Amen. Thank you.